It's time to determine
who is the asshole.
Is it me? Is it you? Is it the person on Reddit that submitted the story?
Usually.
Yeah, sometimes it's one of us though. Or both of us.
Never. We're never assholes. Who doesn't love r/am I the asshole? It is my favorite subreddit.
That's why. Why is it your favorite subreddit?
Because I like reading stories about people who are doing stuff that's bad in life, so I can judge them. If I can't feel better than someone and me superior to their inferior,
then what's the point?
Then what's the point of living?
Welcome to the podcast. My name's Nick.
And I'm Corey. And you guys, your name is something that we will never learn.
We will if you comment, so you comment. We like seeing your faces in the comments, guys.
Anyways, if you guys want to watch the full uncut and uncensored version of this podcast, early access, you can go to our Patreon, link down below.
Patreon.com/Nick and Corey, where you can also see the content we do on Nick and Corey, which is movie and show commentary. Please check it out. It's super funny.
Yeah. And if you guys want to watch this podcast anywhere else, we have it on Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon, and iHeart, and everything else. Links to that are down below as well. We're very funny, sometimes not pretty. So if you don't want to look at our stupid ass faces, you can go and listen to it. Anyways, please like and subscribe. It helps our self-esteem.
All right.
So tell me about...
Am I the asshole?
Yes. Tell me about assholes.
Am I the asshole for not acting happy when my wife saw me on our morning commute? So I, 31 male, was driving to work this morning and getting close to my exit. I'm driving along in the middle lane past the slower car in the right lane, and I'm about to switch lanes when the car in the right lane suddenly speeds up, blocking my access to that lane. Asshole.
Bad driver.
Automatically, I'm annoyed and I look over to see what the hell is wrong with that driver.
I agree.
Turns out it's my wife.
Oh no.
30 female. And she's smiling and waving.
Ugh.
Happy to see me on her way to work. Hey, I just cut you off, but I'm your wife, so it's okay.
I just imagine like a whole chaos of traffic behind her. And she's like, oh my God. And there's like crashes going on in the background.
I don't wave back or smile. Keep in mind, I'm already annoyed at the driver speeding up to block my way, trying to make my exit, and caught me to surprise to see my wife. My wife sends me a message when she gets to work saying she was sad I didn't wave back.
It's sad.
This is really sad.
I have thoughts though.
But I figured she was joking and forgot about it. Later tonight, she brought it up and we ended up having a mini argument over it. Turns out her feelings were actually hurt by me not acting happy to see her. From my point of view, I was kind of annoyed because I could have missed my exit or worse, gotten in an accident. I just don't think the freeway at 7 a.m. is the place to do that. From her point of view, she was trying to make a connection and show love, and I didn't reciprocate that.
She's trying to make a connection going 80 miles an hour down the highway.
I was just trying to have a date.
I want to be
tismed
here. I agree with the man. I agree with the man. The freeway, 70, 80, some people speed 90 if he was in the far exit. He's on the far side. He's probably passing lane. Passing lane speed is like 15 miles an hour faster than the regular speed. That is not the time to be waving and making connections. That's a safety thing, all right? You could say, you're unfeeling. You don't care about your wife. I care about safety and road laws, okay?
Okay, HIPAA.
The safety of HIPAA.
Not HIPAA. OSHA?
Also not.
OSHA, yeah.
That's for homes.
OSCHA or something.
OSCHA? It's not Schwartz.
You.
It's
there's something
laws.
Safety violations.
It's for safety. We've driven past each other and like a quick nod, move on.
This is my nod, friend.
Yeah, just flicking each other off. But like you do it and then you move on. But
or
like,
you flash your blinker. But you wouldn't do that at 7 a.m.
But it's also, it's early on the way to work. You're driving fast. That's the biggest thing. If you're going over 60, probably even
you're
before
going
that.
Ricky Bobby fast.
I would say once you're going like a dangerous speed. I don't know, like
10 miles per hour.
Honestly, probably 10 miles an hour and over is dangerous. But like once you're going a fast speed, you shouldn't feel bad that someone didn't wave to you or like take their eyes off the road. Yeah. That's just a safety thing.
Yeah. My opinion is that my wife has now associated herself with something I fucking hate. I hate when people are slow and get in front of me, whether it's a car or in person or any other form of movement. If you're moving slower than me and you get in front of me and you do not accelerate to the speed that I was going, fuck you.
I've taken after my dad and I've become somewhat of an aggressive driver. I hate when people drive in a bad way.
Oh, if somebody cuts you off slower, it's insane. But at the same time, I have this rule where unless my mood is absolutely abhorrent and I'm just an asshole, if I see a random person and we make eye contact, I smile at them. And they pretty much always cheer up. Like I could see them looking pretty bummed and then I smile at them and I see them look back and they smile back and everything has improved in the world. So, and if the person I happen to see is my wife, I don't think there's a state in which I'd be like, and just be a
If I was driving and it's a quick glance, like you're not having seconds of time to make this connection. You have to like still look at the road and like figure out, holy shit, they probably did something that may have caused an accident. I don't know if I would be able to process my emotions fast enough to go like, who the fuck is oh shit, it's my wife. I'm still a little angry and confused. Okay, pretend to be happy. All within like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's fast.
and then slam my car into her.
Because the context of this, from what I gathered, is that they're in the passing lane. They're speeding. They're trying to now slow down and move over to their exit lane to get off the exit. So they're crossing lanes. You could argue that they should have been prepared ahead of time, but they're in traffic. It's hard to do it at the exact time you want to do, whatever it is. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They're thinking of trying to move over to a lane. Predictable driving. The wife didn't act predictably. She sped up to then match his car. So now he couldn't transition. That's dangerous. That's bad.
Yeah.
And if I didn't realize it was my wife prior to this, I'd be like, what the are they doing?
Yeah, and his point was valid, but
Yeah.
so it was determined that he was an asshole, but not for his initial reaction to being cut off. It's for the fact that his wife later came to him and said, "Hey, I was sad that you didn't like smile and wave
Yeah,
at me."
no, I agree with that.
And I agree with that.
I think after it's happened, you cool down and realize who
There's
it is.
no reason
process
to
it.
hold on to that.
No,
to
there's
be
not.
like, in the moment, okay, you can have whatever reaction, but if you hold on to that, you're just building a bigger problem. Just let go and move on.
I think the initial situation, the guy is not in the wrong. I think that it is incredibly hard to switch modes from safety, aggression, and predictability to then, holy shit, the person who up is someone I care about. How do I handle these emotions? By the way, you have 2 seconds where you have to look back at the road.
Yeah.
Versus you have now had hours to think about it, and you should pretend to be okay with it and be like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't wave. I thought you were someone else. Yeah.
All right. Am I the asshole for divorcing my husband after catching him in bed with our married neighbor and exposing her to her husband?
Oh, I wonder who was the asshole here.
I just thought this was such a f***ing funny story.
Why? Who?
The audacity to ask this question.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for pushing this guy that was stabbing my kid in the heart with a machete?
Am I an asshole because I fed my dog one extra piece of food today and my other dog got jealous?
Am I the asshole for feeding my kid arsenic?
Am I the asshole because I fed my kid not candy for every meal? It's like, what kind of questions are these?
I thought this was a funny story. This is honestly such a mess that I don't know if I handled it the right way. But before I go, but here we go. I, 34 female, have been married to my husband for 7 years, 36 male. We have an 8-year-old autistic son, and life's already been pretty stressful for both of us. I thought we were handling it as a team, like we were in this together, until a few weeks ago when everything fell apart. We live in a small neighborhood where everyone's pretty friendly. I got along well with our next door neighbors, Emily, 32 female, and her husband Dave, 35 male. Emily and I weren't super close, but we chatted often. Our kids played together sometimes, and our husbands would occasionally hang out too. At first, I thought it was nice that my husband and Emily seemed to get along. You know, just neighbors being friendly. Ha ha ha
ha ha ha. Little did they know.
But then things started to feel off. My husband became more secretive, especially with his phone, and he always seemed to bump into Emily when I wasn't around.
Interesting
Bumping
coincidence.
He'd go for random walks or suddenly needed to run errands after dinner. I noticed these little things.
Errands after dinner?
Yeah, that's sus as fuck.
Hey, it's 8 p.m. Gotta go to Lowe's.
Oh, I gotta get some mayonnaise right now. I'll be home in 2.5 hours.
Hey, I gotta go out for milk and cigarettes. Ha ha, wink, wink.
I noticed these little things, but I didn't want to seem paranoid. I mean, we've been through a lot together. I didn't think he would do something like that to me. No, then one day everything came crashing down. I had to come home early from work. This is where it sucks, dude. If you're a piece of
just don't
be a piece of
I saw a comment earlier this week I thought was so funny. It applies to this situation. It's why is it the ones we always suspect the most that do this? It's essentially saying like, oh my god, I saw all the signs. I can't believe he did this to me. But like, it was pretty obvious. It was under the context of Kanye being like kind of tied to P. Diddy.
Okay.
And it's like, why is it always the ones we expect the most who do this?
Well, it's like, why is it the ones we love that betray us? Deep breath.
Because they don't love you.
And you can only betray someone that you love. You can't betray someone if you don't love them. It doesn't work that way.
I feel like someone probably heard that outside. It's like, what is going on?
You can't cheat on someone if you're not with them. So yes, it's only going to be your significant other.
This is a relationship version of why is it always the last place I look where I find my keys? This is like a check mark of every like shitty affair situation. They stayed out doing errands. They started hiding their phone. I came home early one day.
And here it comes. I walked in, and there in our bedroom, I found my husband and Emily together. in our bed.
That's another situation. It's like, why if you're gonna cheat? Not, I don't want to give you a playbook on how to cheat because, like, obviously, I would be so bad. I should give like a fake playbook so they get caught easier. But if you're gonna cheat, why would you do it in your home? You have a child. You have neighbors.
The kids at school. The mom's coming home early from work because the husband typically expects her to be at work at this time.
There's situations where it's like, don't have an affair in your bed where you're obviously gonna get caught. Just, I mean, don't do it at all.
I felt like the world stopped. They both freaked out when they saw me. My husband scrambling for clothes and Emily crying, saying it was a mistake and she was so sorry. Yeah, go eat dick.
It was a mistake. I just fell on him again and again and again and again and again and again.
And it felt so good, so I just kept doing it. I couldn't even process it. I just walked out shaking and went to pick up my son from school. Later that night, I confronted my husband. He admitted to having an affair with her for the past few months. He begged me to forgive him, said it was a stupid, impulsive thing, and swore he loved me and didn't want to lose our family.
Impulsive?
No.
For 8 months.
What you're asking for is not for forgiveness for doing it. You're asking for forgiveness for
getting caught. Yeah. Oh my God, it was such an impulsive decision. I wasn't thinking clearly for 8 months.
I was heartbroken, but I couldn't even look at him. I had no idea what to do, but I knew I couldn't stay with someone who would betray me like that. Then there was Emily's husband, Dave. I knew him well enough to know he was completely in the dark about all of this. I couldn't just stay silent and let him be blindsided like I was. So the next day I went over to their house while Emily was out and told Dave everything.
Let me get a guess out of this. Her and Dave get together.
No, I wish that would happen. It's much sadder than this.
Oh, no.
I even showed him proof, text, pictures, everything I had. He was devastated, obviously, but he thanked me for being honest with him. And that's when the real drama started.
The real drama? There's more?
Both my husband and Emily went ballistic when they found out I'd told Dave. This guy deserves to know.
How could you betray me like this? You mean the way that you did literally a second ago?
Yeah, selfish pricks.
I can't believe you told me for doing something so awful to you. Gosh, like what?
Why would you tell him?
Why would you just tell the thing that I did that was
bad? These are people that want their cake and to eat it too.
Oh, yeah.
My husband said I should have kept it between us and worked it out for the sake of our son. Emily called me all kinds of names saying I had no right to tell her husband that I ruined her life. She even claimed it wasn't serious and that I blew it out of proportion.
Really?
Now Dave is considering divorcing her and I've already filed divorce myself. But I'm getting a lot of flack from mutual friends saying I went too far by telling Dave and I should have kept things private to avoid tearing apart two families.
Those aren't friends. Those are succubi.
I think it's really up.
It is.
If you cheated on someone and you were in a deep committed relationship and you know that that's like a foul and it's not an open relationship, you up. You're a piece of shit.
No, the only reason I think that you shouldn't tell the partner of someone who's cheating or whatever is if you're fearful of like retaliation and damage. Like that is
killing you?
Yeah, like that is the only reason I could think of that you shouldn't do it. Otherwise, like they deserve to know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like the girl being like, I can't believe you did this. It wasn't your place. You had no right to tell my husband that I cheated on your husband. Like you had no right to ruin my life for ruining your life.
Yeah.
What?
I was just doing this because it had no consequences and my husband doesn't know. So just because you guys found out and your marriage is over doesn't mean our marriage should end. I want to go back to being in my relationship and have no consequences for the up actions I've committed.
Yeah, this girl's stupid.
You delulu fucker. Own up to your actions. Suffer the wrath that will be given to you, bitch.
These people are in their little bubble.
I just wanted to say that. That felt cathartic.
You shall not pass your aids onto me.
All right.
Is that the whole story?
Mm-hmm. Clearly, this person's not the asshole.
Yeah, we've known from the beginning.
I think they're totally in the right to share this. I thought that was such a bodacious title.
Bodacious.
I like the word bodacious.
I like the word bodacious. Yeah, like the biggest weird thing in this story is that the friends are like, oh my God, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have ruined her life. How could you? That's so mean.
She ruined her own life. You just unveiled a secret, guys.
Here's a little sauce. A secret sauce for life. If you telling the truth about something makes somebody have a worse time in life, you didn't do shit. They ruined their own life.
That's facts, Corey. Well said.
I can't think of a single situation other than like just being a tattletale for no reason. But like, don't go out of your way to tell on something that has nothing to do with you. That's something else. But if it has like directly to do with you, or it's a huge moral implication.
Yeah.
Things that are like life and death. Life in this case being like your relationship for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Or this poor guy. Dave.
This is pretty serious.
But like if I don't even know if like this is a good example, but like if you caught this girl shoplifting like a single banana, don't tattletale. Like it's not the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel
that's not serious.
That's not serious. Don't like go out of your way. It has nothing to do with you, and it's also like such a minor thing. The people who are affected will deal with it. This is different. If this woman cheats on her husband with your husband, and you just tell the husband because he's out of the loop, and your life is because of her actions and your husband's actions, and she's mad at you for ruining her life in the exact same way just by saying what she did to you.
Yeah.
She's a person, has no right to say that you have no right.
Fact.
Just speak. What's going on?
This actually happened to one of my friends, but his wife ended up cheating on him with the other dude's wife. So she realized that she was bi, but she realized
your
that she was
friend's wife.
She realized she was lesbian, so she cheated on him with his friend's wife.
Let me get. Well, I won't guess, but a lot of people will be like, because it's a lesbian, it's not. It doesn't count as cheating.
Some people think that, and that's really up.
Stupid.
That's so really up. It's different from like you're in a relationship and you guys are like, oh, let's try to bring a third in. That's not cheating. That's you like
no, you have an agreement.
Planning something out. But going behind their back and sleeping with someone of the other sex.
Cheating is wrong is because of the emotional attachment. If you split that attachment with somebody else, it doesn't matter how like little you say, oh, it's just physical. You're still splitting what they believe to be an emotional attachment with somebody else. It's not agreed upon.
Is an animal cheating?
Yes.
Okay.
It's wrong for so many reasons, but yes, technically it is cheating.
Then I don't want to be right. I'm kidding.
Unless for whatever reason your relationship says you're allowed to animals, in which case you should get the police involved.
Consensual.
Yeah.
Animal.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna pretend that didn't happen. Am I the asshole for always putting my boobs on the table?
Metaphorically or physically?
Let's find out.
Literally or literally?
So basically, my group of friends, about 8 total, get together every week for D&D. There are only 2 women in our group, including myself. It's always at friend A's house because he's the DM and has his fancy table and his whole setup there.
It's always D&D people.
Yeah. D&D people have a lot of drama.
The D&D people have so many boobs.
A has a fiance who... I don't know what to do with this. A has a fiance who recently moved in with him. She's cool, and I don't really have anything against her. She just has her own group of friends and doesn't have the same interest as us, or clique, for a lack of the better word, with her husband's friends, us. She recently has been trying to get more into A's interests, so she has been there for our games. She doesn't play with us. She kind of just watches and plays on her phone, which is fine, of course. It's kind of weird to sit on a D&D session and not be part of it.
I guess.
That feels like spying.
I'm trying to go with what's being said, actually, and it sounds like she's saying that this fiance doesn't inherently care about D&D.
Yes.
But it's her husband, or I guess fiance's, interest, and so she's trying. She's doing a bad job of it if she's just sitting there on her phone, but
I
at
feel like
least...
that's weird.
But... here's the thing: if she's not actually in the game, she's just sitting there and she's on her phone. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like it would mean more to me if they are actively trying. But if it's not their inherent interest, I won't blame them.
Yeah.
And they're there because of their partner, not for their own interest. So I would give them a point.
Yeah. And they do live together, so it's technically at their house.
Yeah, it's like, what are you supposed to do? Just sit in your room by yourself?
A has a table he set up specifically for the game, with a recessed middle, so we don't have to put away our stuff at the end. He just has a leaf over the top to protect it. Whatever. He has a lower table that's intended for D&D. Because of that, in order to move your character, you have to lean forward or stand up to be able to reach.
I see where this is going.
Now, I have big boobs. I'm not a particularly big woman. I'm like in my late 20s, 5'4", and 155-ish pounds with H-cup breasts. I don't even know what H-cup is.
I don't know. It sounds large.
That sounds like watermelons. Just
listen. I know the alphabet, and I know that H is a later letter in the alphabet than A through D. So I'm gonna assume it's larger. But
it's after G. Holy shit.
Yeah.
A B C D F G H. Oh my god.
I don't know if there's I cup. I don't know.
I don't know how deep they go.
I don't know how. Yeah. How deep does this alphabet go?
And yes, before you ask, I've already started the process of getting a reduction, and I cannot wait to have this weight off of me.
I wasn't gonna ask that.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
Before you ask, it's like, I wasn't.
Okay, you actually are the asshole. Have you considered getting a breast reduction? The problem is that when I lean forward to move my character, my breasts squish against the side of the table. This sounds like some smut, dude. And after a while, it gets uncomfortable and painful. So I've taken to lifting up a little and setting my breasts sitting on the edge of the table. So she just does that.
I'm so confused.
Plop.
Is this table like a Viking table that's 8 feet in the air?
It's a recessed table. It's lower.
It's lower?
Yeah, so you have to lean over it to reach for something.
She said that she said that before they would squish into the table.
Yeah, she said the problem is that when I lean forward to move my character, my breasts squish into the side of the table after a while and it gets uncomfortable and painful.
The side of the table, which means that her chest level is at the table level.
Well, her boobs are probably... Okay, H-cup means her boobs probably start here and then below her belly button. They're probably fucking enormous.
This is a high table is all I'm thinking.
It's a big boob.
Or it's low chair.
Dude, listen to this. So I have taken to lifting up a little and settling with my breasts sitting on the edge of the table. It doesn't push them up or call attention to them. To be honest, I don't think it's noticeable. Okay, I think anything you do with your boobs when they're that big couldn't bring more attention to them.
I feel like there's a situation where I need a visual a little bit more.
This sounds kind of like bait, but
a little bit. The way they're describing it is a little bit too much detail that makes me confused. It's like, where is your seat in position to this table? This
explains more of that. With the height of the chairs, I can still sit normally with them there and lean forward without it hurting my boobs. I've been doing this for months and no one has said anything. But last week, A's fiance snapped out of nowhere and accused me of trying to put myself on display and to put my boobs away because no one cares. I was shocked and didn't want to and didn't know what she was talking about at first. Neither did anyone else until she pointed my boobs and called attention to what I was doing. She got really, really upset and caused the scene, and we ended the night early. She's still mad at me and doesn't want me to come over to the house anymore. I've apologized and said I'd try not to do it anymore, and even told her how I'm going to get it reduced next year. She called me a show-off and slut and is asking A to stop being friends with me.
Okay, this took a
turn.
I'm
at a loss. I do this all the time. I've even caught myself doing it at home with my own table without even thinking about it.
I would need to understand the visual to know. I feel like sometimes these are unreliable narrators, and sometimes it's like...
It's super biased, probably.
It is.
On their own behalf.
And like, the way that she started this, it felt like she was calling out the fiance as like, oh, she's not a great person. She like barely pays attention, blah, blah, blah. She sucks. So she
sounded pretty neutral in that.
It's like the fact that she included that first paragraph makes me feel like she kind of had a reason to not like the girl in the first place. Well, like, I didn't need any of that for like, if that wasn't in it, I would be like 100% the fiance is the problem.
I wasn't even like, I didn't pick up on her describing the fiance that way, but what came to attention in a lot of the comments that I read was the fact that because this woman is here and called out about this specifically and has no interest in the D&D itself and just sits on her phone the whole time.
Yeah.
She's most likely there to just spy on this girl and make sure that her fiance isn't you think paying attention to her. That's what a lot of people said.
Really?
Yeah. And they basically said that there's people that get into relationships and try to isolate their significant other from people of the opposite sex.
Really?
Which is really up.
With the information given and the fact that it's biased in almost every story like this, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. If you have to read into something that's not there, I tend to not believe the comment in it. The comment saying that this girl, the fiance, chose to be there to spy on her when a just as valid reasoning could be that she actually was trying to be there with her boyfriend, fiance, and like just isn't inherently interested.
But then wouldn't you pay attention?
If it's not something you're naturally interested in.
I feel like it's to be around people that are doing an activity or hobby and just sitting on your phone the whole time.
You could call it but I think it's less than just being like, I don't give a about your activities at all. Don't do it in front of me.
Okay, that's a valid
point. And I think it is a leap from the information we have to say that she was there specifically to spy on this girl or was insecure.
Yeah, that's probably
Now, all the other information that we got of her saying that this girl's a slut and to put her bags away because no one cares, those are things that if said unprovoked, that's fucked up. And it makes me think that this girl probably was there to spy.
I mean, so this girl is the only one that's playing D&D as part of this group. And I mean, I've played D&D several times. We played together. I personally think D&D is a lot more fun if you have girls and guys there.
Well, it's fun to have people that are fun.
No, but I like the dynamic that groups of like guys and girls together have. It's a really fun dynamic.
Sure.
Because if you're playing D&D with a bunch of guys and there's no girls there, it's going to get supremely autistic. That's naturally just what we gravitate towards.
I think that if you have a well-rounded group, things will be more interesting in all regards instead of having like
lawyer answer.
Instead of having like a little echo chamber. No, it's like I don't really care whether it's all girls or all guys, but it's like if you have friends that have overlapping interests and like different perspectives on things, then it'll be interesting. And if you have an echo chamber of people and it just gets weird, then yeah, that's dumb.
Do you think she's the asshole?
I think from the information that we have, I believe that the fiance is a clear asshole for just jumping to saying things like nobody cares about your bags, put them away, you slut.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
If unprovoked, I feel like that is just a shitty thing to say in all regards. And the fact that she's there and like on her phone is not a great look. I'm not going to say that alone makes her an asshole. The insults do.
Yeah.
The thing that makes me a little bit, I wonder what isn't being said in this story, and I'm not judging it at all from this, is just the way that this girl started writing about how the girl like doesn't pay attention is
she may have an inkling of negativity towards her already.
The reasoning is it's completely irrelevant to just the situation of I think the fiance is an asshole because she insulted her and called her a slut. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Everything else about her like not paying attention doesn't make her more of an asshole to me. it's like a lesser separate thing.
Okay.
And it just makes me a little bit confused on like why set this up as the pre-context, and also with her boobs squishing on the table. That's also extra information I didn't need to know.
I think she's just trying to paint a visual picture of how huge her titties are.
It's one of these things of like, she could have just said, hey, I got H-cup, they're large. When I bend over this table to move my character,
It's uncomfortable.
I could understand why this girl draws attention to them. But the fact that she called me a slut and like has like nobody cares, that's uncalled for. Am I the asshole for saying like making this weird? That's all I need to know. The pre-context that people write usually makes me feel like they have an agenda with stuff, and I'm curious.
They're trying to paint a specific picture.
Yeah, I'm curious if there is a world in which maybe the girl who wrote this did have a thing for the guy. I think it's just as likely that happened as the girl who was the fiance was there spying, because neither of those things were said.
Yeah.
So like you could argue either way.
And it's very possible that this being the only girl out of a group of 7 guys playing, not 6 guys plus the fiance, playing D&D, maybe she was trying to get attention.
This is what I go with for Am I the Asshole stories. All I know is that it's seemingly unprovoked. The fiance called this girl slutty and no one cares about her. That's asshole, period. If you then go into the comments and say, yeah, the fiance was only there to spy and like was insecure and like sabotage this guy's friend group, I think you would just have an equal right to say that the girl who wrote it was trying to flirt with the guy, because neither of those things were said.
Yeah, possible. So unconfirmed on our end.
Unconfirmed. Based on this story, fiance's an asshole. Don't insult people for nothing.
Main person might be an asshole too. That's
here's a
bidding
rule
for attention.
I try to live by this rule. If you think like you have a feeling you want to label someone or insult them, like just call them something, a name, don't do it. It will never, ever have any kind of positive impact. You'll just feel good. You'll feel good and petty for a second about it, and then they'll say something to you, and then you'll feel bad again. Like there's nothing positive will ever come from saying, "Oh, you're a slut," or "Wow, you loser," or "Well, are you? You're like a poor, uneducated." Shit. Like nothing will come from labeling somebody.
Sure, nothing will come from calling someone a poor, uneducated. Shit.
Literally, just if
Can you imagine coming up to a homeless person on the street? Hey, I bet you're a poor, uneducated.
All you've done is make them feel bad, and they're gonna lash back at you in the exact same way.
Yeah, you've put nothing into the world.
If you have a problem with someone, talk about their actions in the moment. Don't label them. Don't generalize them. Don't try to paint them as something that they don't agree with. If you say that they're a slut, obviously they most likely will not agree that they're a slut, so they're gonna call you out on something else.
You're weaponizing your statement inherently. There's no need to do that.
If you think they're a slut, call out their slutty behavior and why it would make you uncomfortable. If you're like, hey, for whatever reason, it feels like you're flashing your nipples at me. That behavior makes me uncomfortable. Please don't do it.
I think what could be done better is just have the fiance talk to this girl after they play and be like, hey, I feel uncomfortable that you're like displaying your boobs in front of my fiance, and it feels like you're trying to get everyone's attention here. Like, is there a better way you could go about this? Address it privately.
If you have a calm conversation and talk about the actions that someone does, there is a chance that you might realize that you're making this a bigger thing than it is. When you have to put words to actions, it really makes it cemented in your mind how much this actually bothers you. Because if you can't put it to words and explain why this action is bad, you probably have a problem with it more than it is.
It's probably your projection.
Yeah, exactly.
That. I think in reality, I think confrontation is not a bad thing. I think confronting people privately is much better, though.
Privately is better and
more respectable.
And labeling and lashing out and getting angry, especially in a group, you're never going to solve anything. You're going to make it awkward and weird.
It's not beneficial. All right. Am I the asshole for telling cashier that wasn't the girl's credit card? Don't know exactly what that means, but let's see. Throwaway because her husband told me I was the asshole and want to know before I get home and argue. On phone format is bad. Okay. I guess they typed it up on their phone. I was in a higher end department store today. Rhymes with looming tales.
Already dislike this person.
Do you know what this is?
Bloomingdale's or whatever the it's just they did the stupid thing of
I was in a higher end department store. I'm wealthy.
All right, my name I'm not going to tell you my name. It rhymes with Dak. It's like okay, we get it.
And happened to end up next to 2 teenage-aged girls while shopping. Teenage-aged girls. This person's a dumbass.
We'll move on from their poor storytelling capabilities.
One of the girls had picked out a pair of very expensive boots.
Ooh.
And they were both fawning over them. Second girl must have looked at that price tag and asked Boots girl if she's really going to spend that much on boots. Girl's Boots says something along the lines of, it's fine, I have my dad's credit card, I'm not paying. Which instantly caught my attention because that's not her card. I've told my son multiple times he's never allowed to use my credit card, so I'm interested to see how this girl thinks she's going to get away with this fraud, but had split up from the girls at this point because they had found something else.
I love the projection here.
I would never let this happen to my family.
My dad said I can't use his credit card. Everybody must have the exact same relationship with their dad. I would never let that happen to someone
Well,
else.
they were saying this about their kid.
I know. It's like he's saying his dad.
No, his son.
Well, whatever it is. It's like he would never let his son use his credit card.
Yeah.
Therefore, nobody should be able to use their
So
parents'
this is
credit
clearly
card.
like younger girls and an older guy.
Yeah, I'm a hall monitor of life.
We end up at the same register, me behind, and I see her total hit well over 4 digits. Holy shit.
Well over 4 digits?
Over
you
a
mean
grand?
like maybe over $1,000? Wow, $1,030?
That's
Holy
a lot for shopping, dude. For the average person, that's a lot of money.
I spent more than $1,000 shopping. And it's also
in one session?
Yeah.
What were you buying?
like my 10-year anniversary of buying new clothes.
Oh, you just bought an insane amount in one go?
I buy
Online? You spent more than a grand shopping? I don't believe that.
I have. I literally buy
I
clothes.
know how frugal you are.
Yes, and I buy clothes like once a decade.
Where did you buy them?
I literally was wearing a sweatshirt
Were you at
yesterday.
Bloomingdale's?
I don't know what that store is, to be honest. But no, I was wearing a sweatshirt yesterday that my sister-in-law was like, did you wear that in middle school? And I was like, yeah. It still fits. Why would I get rid of it?
Okay, anyways. The girl's about to swipe her card when I decide that I can't let her get away with it with something like this.
Oh my God. Fucking
And someone has to
Nancy.
parent this kid if no one else will. Holy.
Nobody
guy's
will
a dick.
parent them, then I will.
I tell cashier
Ew.
that it isn't her card but her father's, and I'm not sure she has permission. Girl and friend turn and glare at me, giving me the possibly the dirtiest look I've ever seen.
Here's the thing with that. You just projected that. What do you mean you're not sure they have permission?
Yeah.
In no world do you know they don't have permission. She didn't say that. She's like, ha, I stole my dad's credit card.
Yeah.
She just said, don't worry, it's my dad's. I'm not paying.
I swear this girl's going to throw a tantrum right there. I don't think she was ever told no.
He's probably creaming his pants thinking that she was going to throw a tantrum.
This
Like, oh
white
my
knight-
God, she's going to get upset and I did it all my own. Oh,
I was so right.
I was such a good dad.
Girl tells cashier her father gave her the card to shop with because it's the store's credit card and gives him points.
That's true.
Now that I've pointed out it wasn't hers, cashier tells her she can't use that card. Girl tries to show ID to prove they have the same last name. Yeah, that will help. And I tell her it's still fraud.
I hate
Girl
the way
says
this
it's
person
not
types.
fraud because she has permission and tells me to mind my own business. I told her that it is my business, that she's doing something illegal and she needs to pay with her own card or I call the cops.
Ew.
This is a cringy person, dude.
It is. It's so cringe.
Girl is pissed now and people are glaring at me. She uses her own card and leaves crying. Cashier looks mad at me and I tell my husband when I get home only for him to agree I was in the wrong.
It's shitty.
This
It's not
is
your
really
business. Don't be like, it is my business. No, it's not. Just saying it is your business doesn't make it your business.
If you could tell that someone like stole someone's credit card like over their shoulder or something and like used it, but like if they said it's their dad's
it's
card,
their family's business. She didn't say she stole her dad's card.
Yeah.
She said it's her dad's card. Don't worry, I'm not paying. I've ran into a restaurant or some with my parents' card because they just gave it to me to say like go pay. If someone came to me and like it said, excuse me, that says Beth. You don't look like a Beth. That's not your card. I'm gonna call the police. Be like, what the is wrong with you?
Do you remember being at the grocery store with your parents as a kid and they went back to the aisle and it came up to be your turn and you're like the 1%, but you're like 10 years old, so you're freaking out. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know what to do with this responsibility.
What? And they gave you the card?
Yeah, like they give you the card or something and you're just sitting there like,
You just handed the
you're
cashier
just a
and be
little
like,
potato.
I don't know.
I don't know what money is. Here you go.
I have been in like dozens of situations where someone has given me their credit card as like to pay for them on their behalf. If someone came up and said it's not my card, like you're committing fraud, I would both probably have a panic attack in the store of like not knowing how to deal with that situation, but also like anger, visceral anger that they would butt in a situation they have no idea what's going on. To assume that someone stole
That's
something.
the shit. Yeah. That's out of context. You're absolutely the asshole. Mind your business.
Yeah.
Bitch.
It's one of those situations where
It is my business. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Suck a cock.
9 times out of 10, someone using a card with not their name on it, they have permission from the person. The one time it is actual fraud,
It's usually identity theft.
the bank will deal with it.
Yeah.
You call the bank and say, hey, someone's used my card. I was not in Bloomingdale's and I did not shop for $1,000
sure-
boots.
yeah,
the
I'm
bank will then give you your money back.
Yeah, you can also refund stuff. So I'm sure that the parent that's paying for this credit card will see $1,000 transaction on their credit card and understand
Yeah.
that it's for some shit.
And the fact that it is actually a daughter and her dad, like in this situation, it's not a fraud thing where they just took their teacher's card. It's clearly a daughter and dad.
So fucked. Take
It's
your teacher's
their
card?
family business.
Yeah.
It's so messed up to butt in.
Asshole.
Very asshole. Karen ass behavior.
That's Karen behavior.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for sleeping naked on top of the covers to teach my flatmate's girlfriend a lesson? Probably.
Sounds bad in this situation. Let's see where it goes.
So I, 21 guy, live with my childhood best friend, 22, also a guy, and have done for 2 years now. Up until last week, things were perfect between us. However, he recently got a new girlfriend, 23, lady, and she honestly seems absolutely great except for one thing.
Cougar.
She seemingly has a complete aversion to knocking. She and I have quite a lot in common, and I actually like spending time with her. However, it bugs the hell out of me when she just barges into my room without knocking first. Wait, do him and his roommate sleep in the same room?
No, I think they have different rooms. They're like flatmates. So it's like, imagine your situation where you have a roommate and you have your own bedroom.
And the girl walks into my bedroom?
I don't know what situation a roommate's girlfriend would have to walking into their boyfriend's roommate's room.
That's really bizarre.
But yeah.
However, it bugs the hell out of me that she just barges into my room without knocking first. Now, she's never walked in on me doing anything untoward.
Untoward.
Untoward?
Untoward.
What does that mean? I've never seen that before.
It's like a fancy way of just saying wrong.
Okay.
Untoward is just like uncouth.
Okay. Cool.
Learning new words. Good for you, buddy.
Very cool.
+1 to intelligence today.
Wow! I'm semi-brain dead now. Okay, where was I? I'm usually just chilling in my bed or studying at my desk. However, on at least 7 separate occasions.
7 times?
Okay, that's a odd number.
That paints a picture.
Literally an odd number. However, on at least 7 separate occasions, now she's done it the first thing in the morning to ask if I want coffee. I sleep naked. Every time prior to the last one, I've been under the covers and she hasn't seen anything. I always point out she could have and she just giggles and says, but I didn't. This girl's into him.
That's what it feels like.
Dude, if the girl is asking the roommate, like barges into his room, do you want coffee in the morning? And she giggles.
I think if I was dating someone and I had a roommate and my girlfriend at that time would walk into my roommate's room without knocking, that would be a weird flag for me. Yeah. But then on top of that, if my roommate said, I sleep naked, can you please knock?
And she says, I could have, but I didn't.
And then if he mentioned it to me and she still did it, I'd be like, this is weird. Like, why are you doing this?
I would definitely confront that.
I would think that she's definitely into him. Or if not, I'd be like, you have 0 manners.
Yeah. When she stayed over last week in order to make my point, I intentionally slept on top of the covers. Sure enough, she barges in at 7 a.m., begins to ask if I want coffee, and sees my you-know-what. She immediately backed out of the room and didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. My maid later pulled me aside and said I was bang out of order. Okay, this is a Brit.
That's no friend. It's your friend right there.
Accused me of deliberately exposing myself and pointed out that I'd threatened to do it before. I literally just said, okay, but what if I had no covers on and you saw something before? They're now framing this to others that I'm some sick creep who intentionally got naked and lay in wait of her because that's how I get my rocks off.
No.
And I'm kind of seeing how it came off that way.
No. This screams to me as the friend with the girlfriend is incredibly insecure about his relationship. That's what it reads to me.
Yeah.
The girl
Definitely
is either into this guy or has just 0 manners, self-awareness, or worst case, is actively a shitty person.
Why would you go out of your way to open it's not an open door.
It's their bedroom.
Yeah, he's not sleeping on the couch taking a nap and you're being nice and asking him, hey, do you want some food? I made dinner. You're barging into his room at 7 a.m. Someone barges into my room at 7 a.m. sleeping or not. Honestly, I have full right to mollywop them with my morning wood.
If you have a bedroom and the door is closed and it's not your bedroom, someone better knock.
Yeah, knock the up. And if you knock and wake me up, I will scream at you.
And don't do this Timmy Turner ass. You knock and open it anyways. You knock and then wait for a response.
Oh my God, I came into your private room and saw your meat out?
No, you're in your bedroom. You can do whatever. You could take a shit on the floor and stomp on it doing the rain dance, and that's your own proclivities. You can do whatever you want.
That's weird, but true.
If your roommate's girlfriend walks in on you in your room naked, a normal thing, by the way, he could have just been out of the shower too. Is he not allowed to shower in his room? Because he could be naked in there anytime she could walk in.
Yeah, this is sus. My prediction of this is that the flatmate's girlfriend is into the roommate.
Yeah, or she's just a person. One of the two.
That sounds like there's no incentive to go out of your way to offer something to someone, especially at like weird hours, like 7 a.m.
It's either she's into him or she's. It's one of the two.
It's not like it's a Saturday at noon and you're like, hey, I made some lunch. Do you want an extra sandwich I made?
No.
Sure, thank you.
You can also say that through the door.
Hey, do you want some oh my God, that's your cock.
Knock,
this is your fault.
Knock, wait for a response.
Weird.
You say, can I come in? No. Okay, well, at least you can hear me. I'm making coffee. Do you want any? Done.
Asshole. Okay.
It's so weird.
Am I the asshole if I stop paying my daughter's tuition over a disgusting comment she made towards my new girlfriend? This one has teeth.
Interesting.
This guy's a 56-year-old male. Wife died at the young age of 51 from a car accident. I was in deep mourning for about a year after her death. I met my new girlfriend, C. I'm going to guess that's an abbreviation of her name. 43-year-old female.
C, it stands for Sarah.
See, that's my head because in Russian, C is an S. So
C, it stands for Greg.
C was the one who made me laugh for the first time after my wife died. She's smart as hell. 3 Ivy League degrees. Whoa, weird flex, bro.
No, he's talking her up. Okay,
no,
I
that's
see.
a huge talk up. That's massive.
She has 3 Ivy League degrees. She duplicated the first one 3 times.
Has a dark sense of humor that I love, a terrific cook, and overall amazing woman who I can imagine spending the rest of my life with. She is also on the heavier side, a fact that becomes relevant later. Okay. I have 2 children, E, 25 male, and A, 19 female.
Stands for Andrew and Bob.
What?
The one that was labeled E is Andrew.
I could tell. I could tell the picture your ass was painting. They were well aware that I had gotten a new girlfriend before I first introduced them to C this summer. She got along immediately with E, but A was very, very standoffish. After initial meeting, I asked A if there was something wrong, but she denied it. C made more attempts to get to know A, but they were rudely rejected. Before I go on with this, your children are adults. You've already given them a lot of your life. Your wife died. Are you supposed to stay alone for the rest of your life?
No. It's okay. So far, it's one of these tricky situations of your wife died. It's your parents' mother, and they could take years to get over that and not want to see with someone else. Valid. Being rude is not nice, and they shouldn't if they're an adult. I think this is the E is 17 or something.
23 and 19.
19.
Or 25 and 19. They're old enough to be respectful.
The 19-year-old, again, I can understand you are not emotionally mature yet. You're still a child, and you have feelings of replacement that your mother's being replaced and she's gone and you feel sad. And like, you're not going to be your best self when you're having those feelings.
Yeah.
Going beyond and doing anything about it is where it crosses the line.
Yeah.
You don't have to interact with them. You are not forced to have a relationship with this person. But if they're in your space as a family unit, be cordial.
Yeah. So Andrew, the girl, and Bob both came home for Thanksgiving dinner. I asked A to please be polite during the meal since she's always been rude in her interactions with C, even though C has been nothing but gracious in return. The dinner was going as well as it could have for the first 10 minutes, although I noticed A glaring at C the entire time. Weird. When C went to grab her third helping of mashed potatoes, A said, "Don't you think you've eaten enough, you fat pig?" Holy fucking
Just started this off with a nuke.
Holy shit! That's like someone being like, hi, nice to meet you. Hey, you fat fuck!
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
There's no way that this person could ever be seen as a good person.
Yeah, that's
saying that kind of shit.
horrible. C started sobbing immediately and ran off into the bedroom. I felt my face turn red and told A to get out. About a half hour after A left, I texted her stating that I would no longer pay her tuition unless 1, she apologized to C, and 2, C accepts her apology. A must have assumed that I was bluffing because she instead doubled down on her behavior during Thanksgiving dinner.
Damn.
I then logged into her university's tuition payment website, canceled the next semester's tuition, and sent A the screenshots. She called me crying and begging to reconsider, but I told her my mind was made up.
You're sad that you got caught. No, don't
Not
play.
necessarily caught.
Well, caught in her shit.
She got called out.
She thought that she'd have no consequence of this. This is behavior. Listen, maybe you would conflate it as, oh, don't ruin your child's future for a separate action where you could handle it in a different way. I believe differently. I think that as a parent, your job is to best prepare your child for their future. One is economically, the other is socially. If they will not socially behave, they're going to have plenty of consequences in the future, just as much if they had a bad job.
Yep.
She easily could get her own student loans and go through college and do whatever. But you can't get student loans for behavior.
I think the dad presented a very fair situation. He said, hey, he has leverage over her.
Yeah, well, as a parent,
Yeah, he has leverage over her, and this is valid. He's paying for her tuition. That's very expensive.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, if you don't apologize to my girlfriend, who I like very much, I'm going to over.
Not like that, but yeah.
Not over, but I'm going to give you a punishment.
Parenting is about teaching kids to do the right thing And
Yeah,
when
it's
they do, and when
responsibility.
they do the wrong thing, there needs
Consequences.
to be consequences, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement to change those things.
Consequences are a very important thing that you can impose into your children that teach them to be better people to the world.
And if the child does something bad and they don't agree that it's a bad thing, there needs to be something to show them that there is consequence to their actions.
And ultimately, if you don't consequence the kid, you're doing a bad thing for them.
Yeah, you're being a bystander or whatever the
you're enabling them.
enabling. That's the word. Yeah,
and it's hurting someone else you like.
exactly.
They didn't say like they didn't come up to this would be equally up, but they didn't come up to some random homeless person and say, "Hey, what did we say earlier?
You fat.
No, you poor or something.
Poor and educated shit.
You're poor and uneducated. You dumb.
Yeah.
That's up, and that should also be punished. But this was an even more personal vendetta.
I guess you like. Okay, I'm not gonna say like, oh, one's so much like not as bad as the other. Obviously, like just going up to a random person and saying something mean is bad. But systematically, targeting a single person over and over and over again, that goes beyond just being a rude person. That's bullying.
Yeah.
You are, by not punishing this daughter, you are enabling her to be a bully.
That's so sad.
And she's going to be a adult.
Yeah.
And I think that in this case, as a parent, you only have so many cards you can play to punish them, especially when they become an adult, like 18, 19. Technically, this girl could just go off on her own and be like, Dad, I'm doing my own thing. So as the dad, he only has so many things he can do. Maybe he paid for a car. He can take away the keys. Maybe he's paying for college. He can take that away. He can't lock her in a room anymore. She's an adult. She'll just leave.
I think the ideal way to handle this is to like speak to your daughter individually.
And it sounds like he
be
has.
Like, hey, like I understand you loved your mother very much. So did I. I was with her longer than you were alive. I clearly cared for her, but I'm at a point where I need to like take care of my own needs. And this person is is not bad. You might have like some personal affliction towards them, but like do your very best to not be a to them.
Based on the way this is written, it sounds like the dad had a somewhat of a conversation with his daughter. Maybe it's not as deep as you would like it to be, but let's just assume the best in people that this dad did have a conversation.
He said after the initial meeting, I asked A if there was something wrong, but she denied it.
Yeah. So he did what he could with the given information, and this daughter just kept being a stick. And so he only has so many cards he can play. I think that in this situation, you need to be stern, and being stern means not being loose
and
with your rules.
He didn't just go like, oh, you were mean to her? That's it, I'm canceling your tuition. He said, hey, you were a dick. Apologize sincerely so that the apology is accepted.
Yeah, and change your behavior.
And she said no. So
and she doubled down.
Okay, you.
Yeah.
You'll learn the consequences to your actions. That will be the best lesson to you in this circumstance.
I could only think that some people would call the dad an asshole, being like, don't ruin her future. You could handle it a different way.
She earned this.
No, she earned this. She doubled down. It tells me that she's a person who has gone a dark path in life and needs to be critically reevaluated.
Not the asshole.
This is a situation where when you have an ingrained personality trait, whether positive or negative, usually negative, you will only change when forced to.
Yes.
If it was like
forces.
Let's say this is one thing where like she just has mixed emotions about a new woman coming into her mom's place and she just doesn't like that, but she doesn't have anything bad against this woman. She just acts out because of these confusing feelings. I feel like if that was truly just the case and it was a simple like mixed emotions things, talking it out, having a heart to heart, and the dad saying, hey, that's not cool. You don't do that to people.
Yeah.
That would be enough to change the behavior. But the fact that she doubled down and continued to say very insulting things,
that's
a critical personality failure. And in order to change that behavior, she needs to go through a forced event. A forced event like, all right, if you do this, either you're done with college, it's not getting paid for, or sorry, your life's gonna be hard now. You're gonna have to pay your own way.
Yeah.
And it might sound harsh, but I would rather, honestly, you could argue with this any other way. I would rather have a poor, destitute, no job option kid who is a good person than someone who is like making money and getting ahead in life, but also being a to everybody.
I agree. Completely agree.
I would rather take care of that kid for the rest of my life.
I think your character and the actions that are a result of your character, your actions do define you.
Yeah.
You're not just a good person that made a bad mistake and did a terrible action. No, your actions define your character.
Yeah.
So if you're a piece of and you're given the opportunity to repair that and you don't and you double down on it, you're going to continue being a piece of This dad is totally in the right.
Exactly.
Not the asshole. Thank you.
I feel like sometimes people need like a 3-year-old to be like a therapist. Just say it how it is. Like, not like insulting them or anything. Just be like,
Just raw truth.
you're being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, like what you've done is mean. Like,
Yeah.
just have like a raw 3-year-old just be like, this is not a good thing.
Raw 3-year-old.
Yeah.
That's yikes.
Because they're the most honest people in the world. They don't know how to lie yet.
Yeah, toddlers are scary.
And
honest.
they'll
So
say,
are middle schoolers.
and they don't know how to insult either. They'll just say like, you are mean.
Yeah.
Like, you need to see you are mean objectively. Don't do that. Don't be a bad. Like, you're a bad person. In no way can you say you're a good person after doing something like this.
You can't. Anyways, if you guys, we want to hear what you guys think about these stories.
Tell us if you think that we're right or if these people are assholes or not assholes. We'd
Make
love
sure
to know
tell
your
us in the
perspective.
comments. Also, please check out the full podcast on our Patreon, patreon.com/Nick and Corey. Full uncut and uncensored version. You can
Early
see a
access.
week before it comes out.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe. Tell us your favorite part.
Bye-bye.